Have you ever wondered why some people live past 100 with strong bodies and sharp minds, while others begin struggling with their health far earlier? What's the real difference between those who simply exist in old age and those who thrive? Let me ask you something more personal. Do you ever worry about your health 10, 20, or even 30 years from now? Do you wonder what small things you could be doing today to make sure you're still healthy, active, and independent well into your 90s or beyond? If you've asked yourself questions like these, you're in the right place, because today we're diving into the life of a man who lived the answer. Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara, Japan's most celebrated physician and one of the world's longest-living doctors, lived until the age of 105. But what's even more remarkable than his age is how he lived. He was energetic, mentally sharp, and actively working, seeing patients, writing books, giving lectures, right up until a few months before his passing. And no, this isn't just a story about good genes or blind luck. Dr. Hinohara believed that anyone could live a long, vibrant life if they followed a few simple principles. One of those principles: what you eat every single day. But before we get into the powerful foods that fueled his long life, I want to ask you something. Would you like to know why Dr. Hinohara stayed so healthy for so long? If yes, go ahead and comment on the number 1 below so I know you're curious and ready to learn something that could truly change your life. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss tips that could add years to your life and life to your years. The life and legacy of Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara. Let's go back in time. The year was 1911. Japan was entering the modern age, and amidst the cultural shifts and political change, a baby boy named Shigeaki Hinohara was born in Yamaguchi Prefecture. That boy would grow up to become one of the most iconic and beloved figures in Japanese history, not because he was famous or wealthy or powerful in the traditional sense, but because of the way he cared for people and the way he lived. Dr. Hinohara became a physician in 1941, during a time of global uncertainty. Over the next 8 decades, he not only practiced medicine, but shaped the very foundation of modern Japanese healthcare. He served as chairman of St. Luke's International Hospital in Tokyo, authored over 150 books, many written after the age of 75, and helped introduce the idea of preventive medicine to Japan. But it wasn't just his professional accomplishments that made him extraordinary. It was his presence, his energy, his spirit. Even into his 90s and 100s, he refused to slow down. He worked 18-hour days, gave public talks, traveled, taught, and treated patients. He famously skipped meals when he was busy, took the stairs instead of elevators, and rarely felt tired. He believed that energy came not from food or sleep, but from purpose. In one of his most famous interviews, he said, "There is no need to ever retire, but if one must, it should be a lot later than 65. The current retirement age was set half a century ago, when people lived shorter lives and worked jobs that were much more physically demanding. Dr. Hinohara practiced what he preached. He was lean, quick-witted, and warm. He would often greet people with a smile, a bow, and a curious question. He believed in staying young at heart, and he did. He attributed his long life not just to a healthy body, but to a curious mind and a joyful attitude. He believed that every day should have a bit of excitement, something to look forward to. In fact, he insisted that boredom was far more dangerous than high cholesterol. Let me ask you, what's one thing you look forward to every day? A morning walk? Your favorite tea? A phone call with a loved one? Drop it in the comments, I'd love to know. Because that one thing could be one of your own keys to longevity. Dr. Hinohara's story isn't about being perfect, it's about being intentional. Living with energy, curiosity, and compassion. Taking small actions, daily, that build into a lifetime of health. So now that we've met the man and seen how he lived, let's get into the heart of his lifestyle. Starting with one of his greatest secrets, the foods he ate every single day. Stick around, because in the next section, I'll break down the exact foods Dr. Hinohara relied on to stay strong, youthful, and full of life. Some of them may surprise you. The foods Dr. Hinohara ate every day. If you've ever heard the phrase, "You are what you eat," Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara would have smiled and nodded in agreement. He firmly believed that food wasn't just fuel, it was medicine. But not medicine in the cold clinical sense. To him, food was a daily opportunity to care for your body gently, naturally, and joyfully. His diet wasn't complicated, flashy, or expensive. In fact, it was beautifully simple, rooted in traditional Japanese wisdom, plant-forward principles, and lifelong habits. What he ate each day helped him stay slim, energized, and mentally sharp until the end of his life at 105. Let's break it down, food by food. 1. Fish, especially oily fish. Dr. Hinohara ate fish regularly, almost every day, but he didn't eat just any fish. He favored oily, cold-water varieties like mackerel, sardines, and salmon. These fish are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which are known to reduce inflammation, protect the brain, and lower the risk of heart disease. Why is that important? Chronic inflammation is one of the leading causes of age-related decline. By keeping inflammation low, Dr. Hinohara was protecting his joints, his heart, and his brain every single day. He believed that fish offered clean protein without the heaviness of red meat. It was easier to digest and better suited for aging bodies. Do you eat fish at least once a week? Comment yes or not yet below. I'd love to hear what your favorite fish is too. 2. Seasonal, colorful vegetables. A rainbow on every plate. One of the most consistent elements of Dr. Hinohara's diet was his love for vegetables. Leafy greens like spinach and komatsuna, a Japanese mustard green, cruciferous veggies like cabbage and daikon, and brightly colored vegetables like carrots and pumpkin were on his plate daily. He believed in the power of seasonal eating, consuming what was fresh and available, which naturally kept variety in his diet. He often said that your plate should look like a garden, and that eating a rainbow of vegetables was one of the best forms of daily health insurance. Vegetables provided him with fiber for digestion, vitamins and minerals for cellular health, and powerful antioxidants to protect against aging. What's one vegetable you eat almost every day? Let me know in the comments. You might inspire someone else watching this too. 3. Soy-based foods. Tofu, miso, and natto. Tofu and miso soup were staples in Dr. Hinohara's daily meals. But perhaps most surprising to many, he also ate natto, a traditional Japanese dish made from fermented soybeans. Now, if you've never tried natto, be warned, it has a strong smell, a slimy texture, and a flavor that's, let's just say, acquired. But it's also a superfood. Rich in protein, probiotics, and especially vitamin K2, natto supports both cardiovascular and bone health, critical for longevity. He didn't just eat these foods for nutrition though. He valued the tradition of Japanese fermented foods. These dishes help support gut health, which in turn supported everything from immunity to mental clarity. Be honest, have you ever tried natto? Type yes, no, or nope, but I'm curious in the comments. Let's see how brave this community is. 4. Brown rice and other whole grains. While white rice is common in many Asian households, Dr. Hinohara preferred brown rice for its fiber content and nutritional richness. He believed that whole grains were more filling, slower to digest, and more supportive of metabolic health. In addition to brown rice, he sometimes ate barley, millet, or rolled oats, especially during breakfast. These grains provide complex carbohydrates, help maintain stable energy, and support digestive health. He often reminded people, don't just eat until you're full, eat until you're about 80% full. This mindful approach to eating, called hara hachibu in Okinawan culture, is linked to reduced calorie intake and longer lifespans. Have you made the switch to brown rice or whole grains? Comment below with Team Brown Rice if you're already on board, or trying soon, if it's your next healthy step. 5. Green tea, the daily elixir. Dr. Hinohara was rarely seen without a cup of green tea nearby. Whether it was sencha, matcha, or hojicha, he believed in the calming and healing properties of this ancient drink. Green tea is packed with antioxidants called catechins, which have been linked to improved brain function, fat burning, and lower risks of cancer and heart disease. He didn't just drink tea for the health benefits, though. It was also part of his daily ritual. Slowing down, sipping tea, enjoying a quiet moment. It was a practice of mindfulness and gratitude. Green tea gave him clarity, calm, and connection to centuries of wisdom. Are you a tea drinker? If so, what's your go-to tea? Drop it in the comments, and if you've never tried matcha, you might want to after this video. So what can we learn from his diet? Dr. Hinohara's eating habits weren't extreme, they weren't trendy, and they weren't rooted in fear. They were gentle, consistent, and deeply connected to nature and tradition. He saw every meal as a form of self-respect. His diet teaches us that longevity isn't about restriction, it's about balance. Choosing nutrient-rich, anti-inflammatory foods, listening to your body, and honoring your roots. So tell me, which of these 5 habits are you already practicing? Which one will you try this week? Let's talk about it in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you're finding this helpful. Because in the next part, we're going beyond the plate, into the habits and mindset that fueled Dr. Hinohara's extraordinary life. Dr. Hinohara's lifestyle habits for longevity. If food was the fuel for Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara's long life, then his daily habits were the engine that kept him running for over a century. What he ate was only part of the equation. The way he moved, thought, worked, rested, and connected with others played just as big a role, if not bigger. You see, Dr. Hinohara didn't believe in simply extending life. He believed in extending vitality, the ability to live with energy, purpose, and curiosity. Let's dive into the habits that shaped his extraordinary longevity. 1. Move every day, lightly, naturally, and often. Dr. Hinohara didn't work out in the way we think of gyms and equipment. Instead, he built movement into his lifestyle. He walked everywhere. He took the stairs. He stretched every morning. He didn't sit still for too long. Even in his 90s and early 100s, he skipped elevators and climbed stairs like someone half his age. He once said, "When I have some free time, I climb stairs 2 at a time to keep my muscles strong." The takeaway: you don't need a gym membership. You just need to move your body with consistency. How do you stay active every day? Walking, gardening, dancing in the kitchen? Let us know in the comments. Movement is personal, and we'd love to hear what works for you. 2. Never retire. Keep contributing, keep growing. Dr. Hinohara kept working well past 100, not because he had to, but because he wanted to. He believed that having a purpose, a reason to get out of bed each morning, was one of the most powerful medicines for aging. He often challenged the modern idea of retirement. There is no need to ever retire. But if one must, it should be a lot later than 65. Work gave him joy. Teaching gave him purpose. Helping others gave him life. Have you ever thought about your purpose after retirement, or what passion you'd love to keep pursuing? Share it below. You never know who you might inspire. 3. Stay curious. Keep learning, reading, asking questions. Dr. Hinohara never stopped being a student. He was constantly reading, writing, and researching. He stayed up to date with medical advances, explored new ideas, and surrounded himself with thinkers and creatives. He believed that curiosity kept the brain young, and that mental decline wasn't just physical, it was often a result of boredom and lack of stimulation. In fact, he published his most popular book, Living Long, Living Good, at age 101. What's something new you've learned recently? A fact, a skill, a book you read? Comment it below. Let's inspire lifelong learning together. 4. Prioritize service over self. Service was at the core of everything Dr. Hinohara did. Whether it was treating patients, mentoring younger doctors, or writing for the public, he always focused on helping others. This mindset, he believed, was key to long-term joy. He often said, "Give your energy to others. When you help someone, your own problems feel smaller, your heart feels lighter." He didn't believe in chasing happiness. He believed in creating it through compassion. Who's someone you've helped recently, or someone who's helped you? Tag them in the comments or simply write, "Thank you," to acknowledge them. Gratitude is powerful. 5. Embrace simplicity. Eat light, own less, stress less. Dr. Hinohara lived simply. He ate light meals, often skipping lunch if he was busy. He wore plain clothes, avoided luxury, and lived in a modest apartment. He kept a light schedule, not by doing less, but by focusing only on what mattered most. He wasn't minimalist for trend's sake. He truly believed that freedom came from letting go of clutter, of stress, of unnecessary obligations. His motto? Don't be obsessed with eating or sleeping, focus on living. What's one small way you could simplify your life this week? Let us know. Your idea might help someone else breathe easier. 6. Find joy in every day, and look forward to tomorrow. Perhaps the most beautiful part of Dr. Hinohara's philosophy was this. He always found something to look forward to. Whether it was a patient visit, a new book to read, or a conversation with a friend, he believed that having even a small spark of joy each day kept him youthful. Always have a full schedule. That's the secret. Plan things you're excited about. He treated each day as a gift, and his joy was contagious. What's one thing you're looking forward to today, or this week? Drop it in the comments. It could be big or small, either way it matters. Final thoughts on his habits. Dr. Hinohara's lifestyle teaches us that longevity isn't just about medical care or strict routines. It's about meaning, movement, curiosity, gratitude, and service. He lived a life that was rich in connection and purpose, and he left behind a legacy that proves aging doesn't have to mean slowing down. It can mean rising up. Which of these 6 habits speaks to you the most? Which one will you commit to this week? Comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you found this inspiring. Stay tuned for the final part of this series, where we'll bring everything together and explore how you can start building a Hinohara-inspired lifestyle today. Final reflections: how you can start living like Dr. Hinohara today. By now, you've seen just how powerful the life of Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara truly was. He didn't just live to 105, he thrived into his final days. He showed us what's possible when we align our eating, habits, purpose, and mindset toward health, joy, and contribution. But here's the question that matters most now. How can you begin applying his principles starting today? The truth is, you don't need to be perfect. You don't need to adopt every habit overnight. What matters most is that you start, with one small, consistent change that feels right for you. Let's break it down. Step 1. Choose one food to add this week. Whether it's eating more oily fish, adding a handful of leafy greens to your lunch, or switching white rice to brown, pick one food from Dr. Hinohara's daily diet and add it to your meals this week. Start simple. Maybe a cup of green tea in the afternoon instead of coffee. Or a tofu stir-fry for dinner once or twice a week. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to begin. What's one food from his diet that you're going to try this week? Let us know in the comments. It's always more powerful when you say it out loud. Step 2. Pick one habit to practice for 7 days. Will you walk every morning? Stretch for 5 minutes when you wake up? Read one chapter from a book each night? Smile at 3 strangers today? Start with one small action, one that you know is doable and meaningful. Then build from there. Which lifestyle habit from part 3 stood out the most to you? Comment below with your favorite and your plan to try it, even if just for a few days. Step 3. Create a why you wake up for. This may be the most important one. Dr. Hinohara often said that having something to look forward to was one of the most powerful forces for longevity. So ask yourself, What lights you up? What gives you purpose? What would make tomorrow worth waking up early for? It doesn't have to be grand. It could be a phone call with someone you love, a walk through the garden, a song you're learning to play, a story you're writing. Whatever it is, name it. Then make time for it. Drop one word in the comments that describes your why. Let's build a list of powerful, inspiring reasons to keep going strong. Dr. Hinohara's legacy is now yours to carry forward. Everything Dr. Hinohara taught was rooted in simplicity, kindness, and intention. He didn't believe in trends. He didn't chase hacks. He simply lived each day with care, for his body, his mind, and the people around him. You can do the same. Eat with joy, not fear. Move your body with gratitude. Use your energy to serve others. Stay curious, always. And, most of all, find something to look forward to every single day. That's the Hinohara way. Your turn. What happens next? Now that you've heard Dr. Hinohara's story and secrets to longevity, what will you do? I encourage you to take a moment right now, pause, reflect, and choose one small thing to do differently starting today. Whether it's what you eat, how you move, or how you think, the power to transform your future is already in your hands. Tell us in the comments, what's one thing you're going to change or try after watching this series? If this story inspired you, please like this video to help it reach more people. Share it with someone you love. Maybe you'll help them live longer too. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that empower you to live your healthiest, happiest life. Thank you for being here. Thank you for caring for your life. And thank you for keeping the spirit of Dr. Hinohara alive by taking action, one small step at a time. Until next time, keep living with energy, curiosity, and joy. See you in the next episode.